And now, ladies and gentlemen, would like to call upon our chief guest, gracing this occasion, the grand opening, the inauguration of the headquarters of Ewing's Foreign Education Center. Please welcome the Honorable Minister of Special Assignments, Honorable Dr. Sarath Amunugama.
Venerable Sir, distinguished visitors, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by thanking the organizers of this function for inviting me to be present here and to say a few words. Education is a very important aspect of Sri Lankan life. We are one of the few countries in the world where we afford free educational opportunities to all our citizens, all the way from kindergarten to university. Now for over 60 years, our country has become a model in the world as a country that is offering free education to all our young people. Nowhere in the world, I think, do we provide such extensive opportunities. I was in China recently, and even in China, we find that tertiary education has to be paid for by the student and his or her parents. But in Sri Lanka, even university education is financed by the state. But increasingly, due to very obvious demographic changes, large populations coming into the educational structure and later looking for employment, it is clear that the state cannot undertake all education in the country. If the state tries to do that, it will mean that large numbers of young people who should be given the opportunity to use their talents to shine in this world will be deprived of that opportunity. So while the government maintains and in fact increases its commitment and financial allocations to the education sector, we also welcome the activities of the private sector who can increasingly deliver up-to-date and modern education. Another phenomenon is that, unlike those days, when foreign education or education tests and so on, which are organized by foreign sources, we find that the middle class in Sri Lanka, which is a very growing number, a bulging population, is also anxious, even if they have to pay for it, to see that their children get an opportunity of furthering their prospects. There is no doubt that education is the ladder for success in Sri Lanka. All of us here know that we would not be here, we would not hold these positions, we would not be spending this evening, but for the fact that we were given opportunities through the education system. So as citizens of this country, as political leaders, as social leaders, religious leaders, we must all subscribe to the idea that young people in Sri Lanka should be given the opportunity to advance their position in society through education, be it through state education or now increasingly through private education. So you have set an example. And then another feature of the private education system is the adaptability. While the state system takes a long time to adjust, quite understandably, because it is the largest organization with large numbers of teachers, large number of schools, large number of bureaucrats, all associated with the education system, The underside of that is that they take a long time to change and adapt to modern conditions. But whether we like it or not, the world is changing. We have to adapt to modern conditions. Our children must have the opportunity of accessing that new knowledge. And sometimes the state alone cannot undertake that responsibility. So I find in institutions like this, they are helping young people in this country and also helping the state by taking part of the responsibility. In the years past, there were debates in what language should you educate them, up to which class should you teach them in local languages, up to what class should you allow them to learn international languages. For young people, that is not a problem anymore. It is a problem only for bureaucrats and only for old people. Young people want to learn as much as they can. They don't care whether the state system is capable of giving only a limited education. They want a better education. They want to learn new languages. They want to learn new subjects. And that is a very good aspect of our society. Young people want to change. Young people want to go into the modern world with all the facilities that other young people have all over the world. So that is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Some people think that having more universities, more private universities is a bad thing. I cannot understand their mentality because they are really, now take the university, medical university issue. Today every country has a large number of medical universities. I can't understand people saying that only the state should run medical university in Sri Lanka. Nowhere in the world do they have only state medical universities. If you go to former communist countries, they have the largest number of private universities. If you go to China, in every street corner there is a university. If you go to Russia, there are hundreds of universities. So more universities, the better, and you will find that a large number of people who contribute to science, who contribute to medicine, who contribute to new knowledge come through private universities and private educational institutions. So at a time like this, we must clean our brains. We must wash our heads and get rid of these old 19th century ideas that there are education monopolies. Not only education, in every area there should be no monopolies. Why should there be monopolies? Who is this great big man who can discuss and decide on what the education should be, where the children should go, what they should study? That is an old, antiquated, forgotten idea. I don't know why Sri Lankans, partly because they have no access to international languages. They do not see how the world is moving in the field of education. But I think all those who are here know the value of education. Even if you have to pay for education, it is worth it, because that is the ladder to success. So I'm very glad to welcome and to support private initiatives in education, because new experimentation, new ideas, front runners of thinking come from private educational institutions. Later those ideas are incorporated by the large state sector. So you can't expect the state sector to lead with new ideas, new thoughts in education. They will follow once you create an environment, and once the children who are here learn different languages, go abroad, come back with that knowledge, then little by little the state agencies also will change. So I look on these institutions as pioneers of new and better, more scientific education, which will then impact on the public sector and create a very useful and functional education system in this country. Today we are having a very strange phenomenon. We have children coming through the education system, but not having the skills for the modern world. Thousands and thousands are churned out of our school system, but they cannot find a place in the modern world, in the modern industrial world, in the modern manufacturing world. So this mismatch between state education and the needs of modern society has to be met by the private sector. They must give the lead, because what you fashion will be what the state should be providing if those children who go through the state system should get a better life. There's no bigger crime than allowing a child from 18 years to 28 or 38 to be just wasting his time going here and there and joining politicians because they have nothing else to do. So you have to have opportunities for young people, and it does not matter whether it comes from the private sector or the public sector. Deng Xiaoping, he is the father of modern China, not Mao Zedong. Deng Xiaoping said, I don't care if the cat is white or cat is black, as long as the cat can catch rats. The job of the cat is to catch rats, not to say I am a public sector man or I am a private sector man, I am for socialism, I am for capitalism. All that is not necessary. The cat must be able to catch rats. Similarly, the educated young people of this country deserve a high education, and it does not matter whether the cat is white or black. Thank you very much.